Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in. This is Claude Gretcha with How Do I Start a Website.co. In this video I'm going to show you how to sign up with Nanix.com to purchase a domain and go through the various registration options because I've been getting a lot of emails that people seem it's a little bit confusing and daunting for them since the first time on the internet wanting to build a website and things like that. So I'm just going to walk you through the whole setup of creating a domain name and registering it with Nanix.com. So I'm going to go here to my URL up top here and type in Nanix.com so I can get to their website. And the particular area you want to be in is this area here. And you just want to type in the domain name you want. In this particular case, I'm going to choose VW Black 1969. And in this particular drop down here, I can choose whatever top level domain name that I want. In this my particular case, I want a .co for this particular website, and I'm going to click search, and I'm going to wait for the results to see if it's available, and yes it is. And you can see that they have a .co, .com, .info, and so on. They're all available because it says add in red. So in my particular case, I'm just going to click add here for this one. You can see on the right hand side in the order summary that it brought over my vwblack1969.co domain name and ready to be registered. Continue on. But before I do that, I'm just going to walk you through the stuff of what's going on here down below, because this is very interesting that Nanix.com has, is that they have different variations you might also want to consider if you're looking to purchase other domain names in the meantime. Here with .co extensions, and you can see they have a vw.black, and it's just the way that they have it set up so they can, in case your domain name that you were looking for has been already taken, they'll give you different variations of it. And they also have the premium domains for this one, color black me black, color me black. And by premium, that means that there are people out there who already have purchased domain and they want to sell it for a larger piece of the pie. Because they know that these domain names here actually get enough traffic to the website, and they're very popular. And down, if you scroll down a little bit more below, you can purchase it by your country or region specific, meaning by the top DLD, like they have FR stands for France, .net, .br. I'm not sure what .br means, or .sc. You'll have to look into that on your own. And then they have pricing per other top level domain names here. So without that, that being said, I'm going to go over here to continue to the registration, because that's what we're wanting to do today. And you can see it gives you two options here in Nanix.com. Either if you already currently have an account with them, you can just type in your username and password, and then you don't have to type in your registration. But if you're a first-time user, and for this purpose, I'm going to type this in, because I'm going to pretend like I'm a first-time user, and I'm going to put in my name, email address, to know where to contact me. In this case, I'm going to put in a fake email address here. And now, if you look at the next option down below, it's very interesting that it has add your domain name for just $2.09 a month. Now, this is pretty good, because if you want your domain name, you want to add an email, so as part of your domain name, you'll get an email at your domain name that you just bought. So this is pretty good for your company branding also. That way people know to find you at your domain name. And if you have a company, you can put it here. It's optional. You don't have to. You just mainly want to stick to where they have the red asterisk. That means it's required. So in this particular case, I'm going to put in a fake address and say River Road. And I'm going to type in the city. And here I'm going to say Rockaway. And United States, and I'm going to choose New Jersey. That's where I currently reside. I'm going to put in the zip code for Rockaway, 07866, and the telephone number where I can be reached at. In this case, I'm going to do a fake one for this particular case, and that's it. And now I'm going to hit next, and it's going to walk me through some other setup. As you can see, it'll just walk you through all these 2, 3, and 4 down below. And we're going to hit next on that, and you can see it just rises right up. Now, what this is asking me is, what are going to be my domain name settings? So here on the left-hand side, you can see that it has my domain name that I chose, and how many years do I want to register it for. I'm going to say 2 years because that's a good lengthy time for me to choose my domain name. So of course I'm going to be paying for 2 years. So that's 2 times the original cost that it wanted. And then it has my registration information here, and it says, do I want to certify my domain name? And the reason you would want to certify it for additional $3.74 a year is this just signifies to say that you are who you say you are in this domain name, and you're not some fly-by-night type business. But in my particular case, I'm going to go to uncertified here. And then you have these other things below here. It says hosting these domain names elsewhere, and if you are hosting your domain names elsewhere, you may want to choose this option here. But for this particular case, usually everyone just leaves this the way it is, and because then later you'll set that up. And here you'll have, if you want to do auto renewal at the end of 2 years, so you don't lose your domain name. And a lot of people do this. They do it for 2 years, and afterwards they forget about it or don't use it, and then they lose their domain name, and then somebody else ends up picking it up, and then they sell it for more money. So it might be beneficial for you to put this on auto renewal if you want, and you can change it to manual. Automatically it's set to auto renew, so you're covered there. So that's it for that. I'm gonna click next so we can continue here. And the next thing that comes up is, do you want to protect your privacy online? And by that it means that obviously it's free to have the standard registration, and basically what that means, if I look up your domain names in the public who is, and you just pick the standard registration, people can see who the registrant is, basically your name and address and where you live and your phone number and things like that, so they can contact you in an email address. And a lot of people may not like this because they don't want to have their name and address online. So then if you want to click private, and what will happen is that they won't share your information on the Whois database. And again, that's who owns this domain, and people can search you by that. But it's completely up to you. For me, in this particular case, I am not going to choose to pay the extra $11.94 a year to protect my address. If you want to protect your address, I would select this. And the best value is protect your registration. This is if you want to do that, and you get a lot more features. Expiration date, it protects that, and the deadbolt transfer protection. If you want to do all these things, I would suggest you do if you want to protect yourself online. But in this particular case, I'm just going to leave it as default, which is standard. I'm going to hit next. And now we get to the part where it says, do you want to activate your domain? And it's asking you here. Nanix is very good about asking if you want additional extra features, so then later if you purchase a domain name, you set up your site and you say, hey, I want email address, I want this, and they're offering it to you right here to make it easy for you, because they know eventually you're going to need and want this stuff. So let's take a look at some of these features. How many email addresses do you want? So if you obviously have 5 or more people working at this.com, you're going to be creating, and if you want each individual person to have their own email address with 2 gig storage, you would want to check this box here, and that way you will have 5 email addresses, or you can choose 10 if you're going to have that, and unlimited storage for only $3.13 a month. Now this is a very good price. In this particular section, I'm not going to do that. On my other websites, I do have this because this is just for testing price. So I'm just going to remove what I just did from here. And the next position here is, do you want to add website and hosting to your domain name here? And now what this is, if obviously when you purchase your domain name, Nanix.com does give you free hosting. For up to 4 pages. It's the minimal grade type of hosting that you want. But if you want to do something a little bit more advanced and stuff like that, you're going to have to choose maybe some deluxe hosting with a 5-page builder with photo album if you want to do all that. But if you look at my later videos, you will see how to utilize all these things. So it's up to you. In this particular case, I'm going to leave it the default. And now we go down below here where you have choosing these features for your website. Do you want to offer SSL certificate? Now what SSL stands for is Secure Sockets Layer Certificate. Now it encrypts your whole entire website in a 256-bit encryption, so that way if you have some type of checkout or cart, if you plan on using it later to create a business or to sell things online, you might want to have this. Like if you take a look up here, this is what SSL is. It's that HTTPS, and that S in that HTTP URL stands for secure. So right now, since I'm going through the checkout, it's securing all my encryption, my data going back and forth, so that way somebody cannot sniff out my traffic online while I'm going through these setup options. A lot of advanced websites have them so that you can protect your customers and they can feel warm and fuzzy that that you are looking out for their best interests. In this particular case, I'm just doing this for testing purpose, so I'm not going to choose this. But if you have a website and you're planning on offering products and services in a checkout process, I would recommend you do this right off the bat. But later videos we'll get on to how to utilize that and how to set that up. For in this particular case, I'm going to click next to purchase my domain name. And now we're brought up to the final checkout phase in the cart, and this is what's in my cart here. So being that I chose for 2 years reoccurring, one domain name, since the .co is $29.99, it's going to charge me for 2 years, which the total is going to be $59.98. And I can also choose here to go 1 year if I wanted to, and you can see it's going to update it to $29.99. But however, I want it for 2 years because 1 year is too short for me. So in this particular case, it's going to ask you one more time. You can leave it as the default, but I'm just letting you know what these features are here, or these options. The registration type. Do you want to leave it public again, or do you want to keep it private? And in this particular case, I'm going to leave it public for me. I don't really care about that. And you want to add these matching domain names. Again, it's going to give you another option. Just say, hey, here, you know, you may want to buy these things if you really think your website is going to take off and be important. So you may want to do this if you feel like buy them all up, because people are making business on buying these things up after your website gets purchased, and if it gets popular, then somebody will pick it up, and then again you'll have to pay a premium, which will be like the $1,000, $2,000 range, depending how much these people will try to sell it to you for a later date. But in this particular case, I'm going to choose, the next thing to do is to continue to checkout, so you can purchase my domain name. And again, here it's going to ask you, again, if you already have a customer login, if you already have a domain name with them and you're just purchasing another one, you might want to enter your username and password here, so that way it'll bring up your account information, and then you can associate this domain name with that same account. However, if you want to put underneath a different name and different address and stuff like that, then you want to continue here to your order. Now, the reason my name, my username, my first name and last name, my information is here is because we previously entered it at like 3 or 4 pages back, and it carried that over, which is okay again because we are encrypted, so it does this as a feature for you. Now, the reason it's asking you here login information, so this is going to be my account here. So it's already created a login ID for me, and this is going to be my login ID of how I'm going to access this account after I purchased it. And then it's going to ask me to enter a password here and the confirm password, and then the password hint and the call-in PIN. So I'll explain those other two things in a little bit. I'm just going to enter my password here real quick, and you want to make sure you enter a good password with at least 7 characters and at least 1 number in there, just to be a little bit more secure online. And the password hint, I'm going to enter the password hint. I'm going to say, my dog's name, let's say, and it's going to give me that hint in case I lost my password, and then it's going to ask me a password hint to authenticate who I am in order for them to either reset my password or to give me the password. And now the call-in PIN. The call-in PIN is for if you call this number up here and you have a problem with your website and you need some help to do something, you can call this 24/7 hotline. I've been up at like 3 o'clock in the morning one time, and I've called them because I had a question or issue. It doesn't really matter what you have. They provide the best support out there, and there really is somebody out there at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and wanted to help you. And so feel free to call them anytime. No question is stupid for them, and they're very nice and polite about it. But they are going to ask you to authenticate when you call them, after you put in your login ID and all that stuff during the setup options. When you call their call routing system, And once you get on the phone with somebody, a live person, they're gonna ask you to give them your PIN. In my case, I always use my my birth year, so I'm gonna say 1979 here. And then my email address and all that stuff is going to be here from previous settings, and then it's going to ask you here, do you want to stay informed with emails? It's good to have these on. You'll get emails from them, maybe weekly and monthly, just give you new promotions and percentages off and all that stuff. And then they say, do you want us to contact you via text messages when they have renewals and promotions, stuff like that. It's up to you if you want to do this. For me, I'm going to say no here. And do you want to be contacted by mail? I like to stay green, so I'm going to hit no. I don't want to be contacted by U.S. mail. Email is enough for me. So I'm going to continue to the checkout here. And then we're almost done. Oh, okay, I have a mistake here. So it says the password confirmation failed. Maybe because I probably typed in a different password or it didn't match. So I'm going to try it again. I'm going to say okay, and click continue. Okay, now we're going to come out to the checkout line, and here what it's asking you, what type of form of payment do you want to do? Do I want to do credit card, check, or do I want to do PayPal? So whatever is convenient for you. I have a PayPal account online, and so I'm going to choose PayPal, and you can see it brings me directly to PayPal, and then I'm going to enter my credentials here, and let's see, for instance, I'm going to put in my PayPal account information, and what that's going to do is going to tie in the PayPal account. Okay, and I'm just going to agree to this. It's going to say this is the authorized account I'm going to use to purchase this currently. I created a billing agreement with them if you have a PayPal account for this, and I'm going to continue back to the hosting services. So now what it's doing is it's tying my PayPal account to here, so that way, since I have automatic payment, it's gonna set this up for me. So that way I can continue purchasing after 2 years. It'll charge my credit card if my domain name runs out and it's time for renewal. And here it says PayPal information. By electing this, it's just an agreement, and then I can enter a friendly name if I choose for my PayPal account. I'm gonna choose CG as my initials, and then do PayPal here. So if I have any other payments later, I can use this account. Now here on the right hand side it has the final step. I have read and agreed to the terms of use and all that stuff, yada yada yada, and then I'm just gonna place my order, and it's gonna charge me $50.99. And the next thing that's gonna happen from here is that it's gonna give you your order confirmation, and then it's gonna say, do you want to log in and start working with this account? So I'm not gonna do this here because I don't want to pay for this account, this domain name, because I just use it for testing purposes. So that's it for the video. I hope it explained a lot of things for you and a lot of confusions that some of you might have had. But write to me and let me know if you need more options explained, and I will put it on the website. Okay, thank you for listening to this video.